George out and then we'll get going. So we're going to come down to lie on your backs, on your mats, feet hip width apart, knees up towards the ceiling. And you're trying to find a natural curve into the spine, so we're not overarching through the back, tucking under, scoop the tummy muscles. I'm going to turn around the other way for this one so I can see a bit better. Okay, so feet hip width apart. We're trying not to allow the knees to roll in or out unless that's where the movement takes us. So again, we want to try and keep everything neutral, natural curve into the spine, so literally just your fingertips might be able to go underneath the lower back. So you shouldn't be able to fit your whole hand underneath, or you shouldn't be struggling to put your fingers underneath. So a nice natural curve. Pull your belly button towards the spine. And I want you to lift the muscles of the pelvic floor. So imagine you're doing up a tight pair of jeans. So you're scooping in and up, keeping that core engagement. Now that shouldn't affect your breathing at all. So you shouldn't be holding your breath to engage the core muscles. Think about all those internal core muscles. And like I say, pulling the belly button in, lifting the muscles of the pelvic floor. So let's just do 3 breaths. And on every exhale, I want you to engage. And then at the end of that final breath, I want you to try and keep that engagement and just breathe through. So take a deep breath in. And then as you exhale, pull the belly button in, lift the muscles of the pelvic floor. Again, we're not tilting or tucking, just those internal muscles. So you're breathing in, you can maybe relax those muscles. And then every exhale, pull the belly button in, lift the muscles of the pelvic floor. So again, almost as if you're trying to lift the pelvic floor muscles up towards to meet the belly button. And the belly button is pulling in to meet those pelvic floor muscles. And then again, one more time. This time, see if you can hold that engagement and just try and keep an easy breath going. So we're engaging through the core. Now, if you start to relax those muscles, I want you to think before you make a movement, you're going to add that engagement in. Okay, so you're going to pull the belly button in, lift the muscles of the pelvic floor, then make a movement. Take your hands a little bit wider. Scoop through the tummy muscles. Roll over your feet. Allow your knees to fall over each other like dominoes. So you're lifting the hip, you're lifting the waist, but the shoulder blade stays down. Scoop through the core, come back through center. Again, make everything come from that strong center as you go over to the other side. Now I see a lot in classes and when I'm teaching, people have their feet stacked and they try and go over from side to side, stacking their feet on top of each other. This variation, your feet are flat onto the floor, you're rolling over your feet. So your feet are always remaining hip width apart. And you're moving from that strong center, rolling over the feet and allowing those knees to fall like dominoes. So this is your first variation, a nice beginner variation. It's a really nice one for the morning because you might feel a stretch, releasing the lower back, rotation through the spine, and obviously engaging through the core. So take a deep breath in, engage, make your movement, and even if you start to relax those muscles, if you think before you're making a movement, switch on the core muscles and then make that movement. Now if you're used to Pilates and you want to maybe take that next level up, bring your feet up off the floor into a 90-degree position. Make sure your heels aren't dropping down or they're not too far up. Imagine resting a tray onto the shins and imagine squeezing something between the knees. So in this variation, the knees are squeezing together. We're not moving the knees apart. And in fact, if your knees start to pull apart as you go down, then maybe go back to that first variation. You should be able to do a good range of movement without those knees pulling apart and also without the shoulder blades lifting up. We should be gripping the floor for dear life. Palms up towards the ceiling, scoop the tummy muscles in and up and control through to where you can. So again, if you feel like you're lifting up, you've gone too far or you're not engaging through the core enough. So place the feet back down, go back to that first variation. 10, keep going in your own time. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Coming back into the center, bring yourself back to neutral. Feet hip width apart, knees up towards the ceiling. Pull the belly button in, moving into pelvic tilt. So scoop the tummy muscles, tuck your tailbone, gently squeeze the bottom. Now from there, you can start to peel up each vertebrae bit by bit. Your highest position is just to the shoulder blades. So your knees, hips and shoulders are into a nice straight line. But if that's too high, you don't have to come up this high. Then, from the shoulder blades, you lower everything down until your tailbone is the last thing to land. So think about each vertebrae going down. Tailbone is the last thing to land. Make sure you're not overarching at the end. Scoop the tummy muscles, squeeze the bottom, tuck your tailbone, scoop through. Again, it might just be tailbone lifting and then going back down. Finding a neutral position, not overarching. Scooping through the tummy muscles, healing up. Again, scoop through, relax the shoulder blades down, come up to where you can. Make sure your knees aren't rolling in or out, the feet stay grounded. And each repetition, you should feel like you're easing down bit by bit, you're peeling up bit by bit through the spine. All about that control. You should feel the back of the legs working here. Scoop the tummy muscles, engage, tuck, and peel up. Breathe. Keep it going. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Finish your last repetition. Take your time, center yourself, maybe stretch or hug the knees. You felt the back of the legs. Again, come back to that neutral position. Knees up towards the ceiling, pull your belly button in and lift the muscles of the pelvic floor. So let's move through those legs now. So hopefully you can see me on Instagram. Scoop the tummy muscles. We're sliding one leg out along the floor towards a straight leg. And make sure again the back isn't arching as you do this. We're just moving the leg from the hip. So nothing in the pelvis, nothing changing in the torso. Core is engaged, alternating, taking the other leg, sliding out and along the floor. Again, scoop through the tummy muscles, bring that leg back in. Relax the upper body, turn your palms up towards the ceiling. Scoop the tummy muscles, going out. Bring the leg in. So if you want to, opposite arm to leg here. Slow. Again, if you're speeding through this, you're probably moving in the torso. All about control. Think about the length. Imagine somebody's pulling on your big toe, somebody's pulling on your fingertips, reaching. Again, if you feel like you're overarching at the end, make a smaller range of movement, engage through the core a little bit more. Come back into neutral, switching sides, scooping the tummy muscles, reaching, shoulder blade stays down the back. Seem really simple and really basic, but again, if you are engaging through the core, if you're controlling that movement of the arm and the leg, you should feel the core working. So if you don't feel the core working, just check that you're not arching through the back. Again, the shoulder blade stays down the back. Check that you keep in neutral alignment. Sweep through the tummy muscles. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Rest out. To finish off, we're going to combine all three of those. So again, probably running over a little bit today, but scooping through the tummy muscles, core nicely engaged, arms down by your side, rolling over the feet, allowing the knees to drop like dominoes, lift the hip, lift the waist, keep control through the center, shoulder blade down, coming up through center, engaging through the core. Now in the center here, scoop the tummy muscles, tuck your tailbone, gradually peel the spine up, going up to where you can. So a nice sequence for the morning. Hopefully everything feels a bit warmer. Lower down, everything feels a little bit looser, you feel more centered into the core. And then extending opposite arm to leg, reaching through your fingertips, reaching through your toes, stretch to where you can. Coming through center. And then we'll do those hip rolls to the other side. So scoop the tummy muscles in, you might want to exhale to roll over the feet, lift your hip, lift your waist, shoulder blade stays down. Coming back through center, into your pelvic tilt. So once you're back into that center, ground your feet, tuck the tailbone, scoop the tummy muscles, rebuild, coming up, knees, hips, shoulders into a nice straight line, and then lower down, bit by bit. Imagine each vertebrae is going down to the mat. Tailbone is that last thing to land. And once you've landed into neutral, last exercise, just stretching opposite arm to leg on the other side. Scoop through the core and coming back into center. And you're done. So 3 basic exercises that you can take away with you and practice. Again, just doing those every single morning. You're going to start to feel that engagement of the core a little bit more. You're going to start to activate, and throughout your day to day, I want you to, wherever you're thinking, like things like brushing your teeth or cooking, I want you to think pulling in and up through the core. When you're standing, when you're seated, even when you're at your desk, if you pull in and up through the core, you'll feel your posture improve immediately. So that's your practice for today, and you can come back to this, those 3 exercises if you want a basic Pilates practice to build up your core strength.